It was her father's birthday. A formal dinner at Del Vento, the kind of place with white tablecloths and staff that refold your napkin if you so much as blink. Her whole family was there, the Martins. A line of polished smiles and tight, rehearsed laughter. Wine glasses clinked like applause every time her mother complimented the risotto. I sat near the end of the table, a little off-center from the warmth of the conversation, just like always. We were 3 courses in when she did it. My wife, Lila, raised her glass, leaned toward her sister, then glanced across the table at me with that cold glint in her eye, the one I'd only recently started to recognize. Honestly, she said, almost playfully, he's the most embarrassing one in this room. The words slipped out of her like a joke she'd told 100 times behind my back. Her sister, Morgan, burst into laughter, hand flying to her wine glass like she couldn't believe how funny it was. Her brother chuckled. Even her dad smiled, just for a second, before catching himself. I didn't move. I didn't smile. My fork hovered midair like I'd forgotten how to eat. She didn't even flinch. Just turned back to her plate, like it was nothing. Embarrassing. I felt that word wrap around my throat. It wasn't just the insult, it was the ease. The comfort with which she delivered it, like she wasn't saying it for the first time. Like it was a script they all knew by heart. And in that moment, I realized I'd become the family clown. The guy they laughed about, not with. I'd heard whispers before, little jabs about my job. Freelance doesn't sound like real work to them. My old car, reliable, not flashy. Even the way I dressed, buttoned up, not branded. But this was her handing me over to the firing squad, dressed in sarcasm and served with dessert. And for what? A few laughs? I didn't react right away. My body stayed still, but my mind, it was sprinting, flipping through every moment that led us here. The time I quit my job to support her startup. The late nights I stayed up helping her edit her marketing videos. The endless emotional labor of being her cheerleader, her fixer, her quiet, steady partner while she chased every passing dream. I think what hurt the most was how natural it seemed for her. This public performance of superiority, and how practiced they all were in letting it happen. But I didn't say anything. Not then. I looked at her. Really looked. And for the first time in months, I didn't see the woman I married. I saw the version of her I'd been avoiding, curated, calculated, and constantly performing for an audience that fed her ego more than I ever could. I picked up my glass, took a sip of wine, and smiled. I smiled so calmly it scared me. Embarrassing? I said, my voice even light. You want to talk about embarrassing? Her fork paused mid-cut. She didn't look up, but I saw her eyes shift. Just slightly. I reached into my jacket pocket. My phone was already unlocked. I'd seen them by accident 2 nights ago, the TikTok drafts on her account. She was logged in on our shared iPad. I hadn't meant to snoop. I was trying to send a file. But I saw them. And I watched them. All of them. Drafts. 27 of them. Every single one a performance. Some were lip syncs, nothing special. But others? Her pretending to cry, acting like she was trapped in a loveless marriage, mocking me, her husband, in voiceovers and skits. Fake bruises drawn in eyeliner. One video had captions, when your husband doesn't satisfy you, but he does pay the bills. I watched those drafts in the dark while she slept 3 feet away from me. Each one twisted a knife I didn't even know was in my chest. So I tapped the screen now. Played the first one. The sound echoed loud through the restaurant. Her voice in a fake sob, dramatically saying, when he's good at folding laundry but can't fold you in bed. A couple guests turned. The waiter froze in place. Her mother dropped her spoon. The second draft played. Marriage tip. Marry someone who's blind, deaf, and dumb, or you'll end up with mine. Laughter on the video. Edited sound effects. Hashtags. Hashtag married and miserable. The table fell silent. Lila's hand shot out across the table, reaching for my phone. But I pulled it back. No, I said softly. Let them see. I mean, we're all family here, right? Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her father looked from her to me like he wasn't sure what game we were playing, or who was losing. I tapped again. A third draft. This one had her in a towel, hair up, pretending to get a call. Oh, sorry babe, I can't come over tonight. My husband thinks I'm at yoga. She winked. The caption read, if he only knew. I ended the video before it finished. Slid the phone back into my pocket. I didn't need to play more. The damage was already done. Silence stretched so thick you could have cut it with the butter knife in front of me. No one moved. Lila's face was pale, lips pressed into a line so tight, they almost vanished. Her sister stared, stunned. Her mother was shaking her head, eyes wide. I leaned back in my chair, picked up my wine again. Anyway, I said, like I hadn't just dropped a bomb on the table. Happy birthday, Henry. The risotto's amazing. No one touched their food. And for the first time in years, I wasn't the one who felt small. She didn't say anything for a full 30 seconds. That might not sound like much, but in a room like that, where everything's rehearsed and polished and kept moving by surface-level banter, 30 seconds of silence is a scream. Her hand hovered over the table like she wanted to grab the wine glass, the phone, the moment, anything to pull it all back. Those were drafts, she finally said, voice low but sharp. They weren't meant to be seen. I nodded slowly, still calm. But they were made. Every single one. You looked into a camera, said those things, edited them, captioned them. You even added music. That's not a mistake. That's intention. Her sister spoke next. Lila, what the hell? No. Lila snapped, her voice rising like a crack in glass. Don't do that. Don't pretend you care. You all act like you're on my side now because it's convenient. I tilted my head. Convenient? You're the one who turned our life into internet theater. That was private, she hissed, cheeks flushed. They were jokes. You of all people should understand content. It's how people vent now. It wasn't real. I nearly laughed. So the bruises? The fake texts? The yoga class? That was venting? She didn't answer. Her brother leaned forward, brows furrowed. Are you saying you made people think he abused you? Lila shot him a glare. Oh, come on. Like you haven't exaggerated things online. You're seriously judging me? You, who faked a breakup just to boost your song streams. Her brother leaned back, stunned. Their dad let out a long, low exhale like he'd just realized how far the rot went. I glanced around the table. No one was defending her now. Not even her mother, who usually went down swinging for her. Lila turned to me then, eyes burning. You planned this. You waited. You wanted to humiliate me. I shrugged. You called me embarrassing in front of your whole family. You thought I'd just sit there and take it? It was a joke, she said, softer now. You used to laugh with me. No, I said. I used to pretend to laugh because I loved you. Because I thought you were just nervous, or anxious, or misunderstood. I thought it was all a phase. But it wasn't. It's who you've become. Her eyes glistened. I almost stopped. Almost. But there are moments in life where you realize stopping isn't kindness. It's denial. So I kept going. I know about David, I said quietly. She blinked. What? Your coworker. The one you meet for marketing meetings at that boutique hotel downtown. I checked the credit card charges, the room service, the spa appointments. His name was on the guest log. Her breath caught. You went through my account. You used my card. More silence. Her mouth opened and closed once, twice. Then came the mask, the one I'd seen her use with waiters, old friends, anyone she needed to manipulate. She softened her tone. Okay, listen. I messed up. I did. But it's not what you think. David, he was just someone to talk to. I was feeling lost, alone. You made 27 TikTok drafts about how miserable you were with me. I said. You weren't lost. You were preparing to go viral. She didn't deny it. Instead, she turned to the table, the room that once adored her. Are you all just going to sit there? Morgan stood up. Honestly, Lila, I'm trying to remember the last time you didn't lie to us. Her mother finally spoke. Those videos, you faked bruises? It was just makeup, Lila said, desperate now. It was for a trend. Everyone's doing it. Then let them, I said. Let them have you. Because I'm done. Her eyes locked on mine. I could see it, the fear underneath the fury. She'd always been terrified of losing the spotlight, of being discarded. And now she wasn't just losing the stage, she was being walked off of it, mid-performance. I stood up slowly. My napkin dropped onto the table like a punctuation mark. I've already moved my things, I said. I stayed at a hotel last night. The lease is in my name. You'll have 72 hours to make arrangements. Don't do this, she whispered. We can fix it. We don't fix what's broken by pretending it isn't, I replied. The waiter approached just then, his timing painfully perfect. Would anyone like dessert? I looked at him. No, I think dinner's over. And then I walked out, past the silent tables, through the quiet corridor, into the cool night air. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. For the first time in years, I wasn't performing. I was just free. The morning after, I sat in a small diner off Willow Creek Road, the kind of place where no one asked questions, and the coffee came in chipped mugs that always tasted faintly of the last conversation that happened in that booth. I hadn't slept. Not because I regretted anything, but because the adrenaline had nowhere left to go. It just spun inside me like a fan after a power cut. I kept replaying it in my head. Not the moment I exposed her, not the silence that followed, but her face right after. That tiny flicker of realization. Not guilt, not even shame. Just shock that her script had finally run out of pages. You don't always recognize when love dies. Sometimes it doesn't die with shouting or betrayal or slamming doors. Sometimes it dies in a quiet room, while you're staring at someone you once knew, realizing you can't reach them anymore. Not because they're far away, but because they've chosen to speak a language you no longer understand. Lila called 3 times that morning. I didn't answer. I didn't block her either. That felt too dramatic, too theatrical, something she would have done. Instead, I let the phone ring. Let the silence on my end speak louder than any voicemail ever could. By noon, she started texting. I'm sorry. You humiliated me. But I understand why. We need to talk. Please don't throw this all away. Each message sounded like a different version of her. One apologizing, one accusing, one bargaining. None of them felt real. Because if she had meant a single word, those TikTok drafts wouldn't exist. David wouldn't exist. The jokes, the fake bruises, the years of slow, public erasure, none of that would have happened. And the truth? I didn't want revenge. I just wanted my name back. I wanted to stop being the punchline in the life I'd helped her build. That night, I emailed her a list of things I'd be removing from the shared accounts. No angry letter. No final "you ruined us." Just the facts. Like 2 business partners dividing the assets after a company goes bankrupt. Because that's what we were now. Not lovers. Not enemies. Just 2 people who used to believe the same story. Until one of us rewrote it for content. I heard from mutual friends over the next few weeks. Apparently, she posted a teary video a few days after the dinner. Not one of the drafts, something new. No captions. No jokes. Just her in a hoodie, eyes red, saying how betrayal hurts and how people change. The comments were a battlefield. Half of them cheering her on. Half calling her out. Truth is, I didn't watch it. I didn't need to. I knew every frame of her performance by heart. She always played the victim well. That's why the drafts hurt more than the affair. Because cheating is betrayal in private. But this was betrayal on stage. It took me 2 months to find my rhythm again. I moved into a 1-bedroom across town. Got rid of every piece of furniture we bought together. I even threw out the coffee maker. Not because it didn't work, but because I remembered the morning she filmed one of those drafts while sipping from our matching mugs. I got new ones. Just plain, white, no phrases. No hidden meaning. For a while, I felt empty. Not broken, just quiet. Like the silence after a long concert, when the lights come back on and you realize how loud it all was. But slowly, the quiet became peace. I started sleeping better. I reconnected with old friends, people I'd pushed away to make room for her endless circle of curated connections and influencer dinners. I started taking long walks without my phone, sat in bookstores without checking the time. And one night, I found myself laughing, really laughing, at a dumb sitcom rerun. The kind of laugh that sneaks up on you, the kind that doesn't feel borrowed from anyone else's approval. That's when I knew I was healing. Not because she was gone, but because I finally was present. Some people asked me if I'd take legal action, if I'd sue for defamation, emotional damages. I said no, not because I didn't have a case, but because I already had closure. And closure doesn't come in courtrooms. It comes in the silence that follows your last word, when you know you don't need to say anything more. One day, maybe she'll look back and realize what she lost. Maybe she won't. But me? I'll remember that dinner for the rest of my life. Not because of what I lost, but because of what I found. My voice, my boundary, and finally, my way out of the performance.